And we are live. It's been a while. It feels probably to me like longer than it does to you guys. I was on vacation and obviously wasn't doing live streams while I was on vacation. I didn't take my gear with me, had terrible Wi Fi, kind of checked out for a little bit, and feel like I've missed a lot. I probably haven't. It probably just feels that way because when you're sort of checking news and following news feeds and streams and stuff like that, as much as I do, when you kind of switch that off, um, there's like a weird sense that like you're like out of touch. But I don't think that's the case. I think it's good to reset every once in a while. It's good to take some time away to refresh, reset, get a bit of sunshine, as the case was for me. The the title of the video today was tentatively going to be different than what I used. Let me see if I can find. Um, Hold on one sec. I had an alternate. Um, I don't think I can. I don't know how to pull it up. I had an alternate thumbnail for the video. That was gonna be the video was gonna be called Aloha Kidults, but I thought that might be a bit odd and a little bit weird, so I kind of changed it the last minute, and probably for the best. Um, the reality, or wait, maybe I have it here. Um, the reality is people don't care that I went on vacation. They don't want to know that I went on vacation. Um, but for anybody that watches regularly, I appreciate that, and you're in the very small minority that may have missed it. But regardless, thank you for being here with me. We're going to talk toys a little bit. I'm going to talk about some of the stuff I picked up on vacation, some of the stuff that is sort of coming imminently, some of the stuff that's coming for 2023, some of the things that I'm like most looking forward to, stuff like that, and just kind of get back in the groove of talking about toys and hanging out with you guys. Um, First things first, stuff I picked up while I was away. Um, Being in as a Canadian, being in the US, there's stores that I'm not typically used to. I had the Rosses, the TJ Maxx, Target, stuff like that. So it was a little bit different, hunting in some different hunting grounds, so to speak. But I had a pretty fun time. Did pick up a couple things, nothing crazy. I was not somewhere that I think is probably a hot spot for hunting toys. Um, but I got on a clearance at I can't remember if it was Ross or TJ Maxx. Another Beast Wars Transformer. Um, the price was right, which is why I picked that guy up. Not a big Transformers guy myself, um, but you know, there's a few that I want, and he was one of them. And I've just been sort of putting him off, putting him off. I've seen him at a decent price a couple of times, but the price was too good to pass up this time. Um, I also picked up this cool Star Wars logo light. I haven't even taken that out of the box yet, but I think that might look cool on a shelf. I've got my Black Series shelf, and I'm thinking I might put this behind the figures, just to illuminate them a little bit. So that was kind of a cool pickup. Um, I will. I'm going to talk more about these well, maybe I'll just talk about them now, because this is one of those like random things that I'm into because I have kids, but it's probably not on a lot of people's radar. It's probably not one of those things that most people get excited about. But it's a line that, for whatever reason, like, I'm having a ton of fun picking up and collecting. I don't know if I would say I'm collecting it. But if you know who this is, then if you know, you know. This is, of course, Bluey. I started buying these for my kids, and then got a little bit too into them myself. So that Bluey is new, but beyond that, we got Nana, which was a new one to me. I didn't even know that they made Nana. Nana came with this like boxed figure, which is super, super cool, kind of scaled to these figures. Winton is a pretty cool one. We got this like school friends playset that came, with a bunch of new characters. Mackenzie, Pretzel, I can't remember all their names, but I think they're adorable. Super, super fun figures. And then this is the one that I was kind of hunting, and I say that because I saw it on the back of one of the packages for one of the other figures, and then it was like, I checked as often as I could, but there was a 3-pack with the Terriers, and if you know the show, like I said, if you know, you know. These guys are great. These little Terriers are they show up in the cartoon with like swords and shields and stuff, and so these guys are some of my favorite characters in the cartoon. We also got the school, which I didn't know existed. That's the thing, is that I knew about these toys because of another trip to the US. In Canada, we haven't had the sort of the number of these available to us. Um, but I absolutely love them. I mean, if you have kids, you're probably watching Bluey. If you don't have kids, but you do have Disney Plus, I strongly recommend watching Bluey anyway. It's a super fun show. It's pretty adorable. It's an Australian show about well, I mean, anthropomorphized animals, dogs getting into things that people do, but it's a lot of fun. It's like 8-minute episodes, and I'm completely obsessed with it. I absolutely love it. Besides this ton of figures that I have, my kids got me a hoodie for Christmas last year, and I think I've seen every episode that they've done so far at least once. But I always find that I watch a couple episodes and realize that there's something that I missed. But as I said, I was hunting in the US while I was on vacation. The Canadians hear about Target all the time. We hear about the selections at Walmart, stuff like that, but it's one thing that people don't talk about. And if you're based in the US, you probably already know about this, but people don't talk about this, and I don't know why, because this is one of my favorite things. Every time I go to the US and I get the opportunity to go to Target, one of the first things I go to is the graphic t-shirt section, because they do them for like I think they're like $12 for a t-shirt, which is pretty reasonable, I think, especially for a nice graphic tee. And this year I picked up, I think 4 T-shirts. I picked up a Dragon Ball Z T-shirt. I picked up a Hello Kitty and Friends T-shirt. I picked up a Care Bears T-shirt, and I picked up this Purple Rain T-shirt, which I'm wearing today. That's something that people don't appreciate enough. These good graphic tees for that price is phenomenal. Often overlooked, but it shouldn't be. And I wish you know, that somebody would sort of post. Maybe that's what I should get a couple of my buddies that live in the States. When they go to Target, I should just get them to message me a picture of the graphic tee section, because it changes pretty regularly. Every year I find a couple that I like. There was some that I didn't buy this year that I still would have liked, but I thought 4 was probably enough. But anyway, enough about T-shirts. Let's talk more about toys that most people aren't going to care about. I picked this awesome little stuffy collectible plush toy doll, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. It's an adorable Ewok. This was on the this was in the clearance section. This was labeled at $4.15. Now, when I went to the till, they told me that was an incorrect price. To which I said, well, there was multiples of them, so you've labeled them wrong. You know, is it $4.15, or are you going to charge me the regular price? Regular price on this was like $30, which I wasn't prepared to pay, but $4.15, absolutely. So they sent the manager. She went and checked. She didn't come back. I went over to the section where there was multiples. They were all gone. And then I went back to the till and said to the cashier, I said, look, I don't know where the manager went. She wasn't there. The rest of these toys aren't there either. So, you know, is it $4.15 or is it $30? She's like, I don't know. So she had to like page the lady again, the manager again. The manager came back. She says, have you been waiting this whole time? And I was like, well, yeah. And then you went to check this out, and I assumed you were coming back. They sold it to me for the $4.15. They also, my light just switched off again. My light is having some serious issues, which is fine. I can live without that. The manager came back. She said, yeah, that's fine. Put it through at $4.15. And for your patience, for waiting, we're going to give you a $10 gift card. So then I sort of turned that $10 gift card into a storage shell Donatello, which is the U.S. card back. So as a Canadian, I was also pretty excited to get one of the U.S. card backs, because I also had, previous to my trip, ordered the figures from Walmart. They come with the Canadian bilingual card back, which, as you can see, is completely different. It doesn't have the little bio card, doesn't have the little story up top. It's just the turtles, with not much more information there. And so I just got this one just to have the card back, just as a comparison. I'm going to do a video opening these and just comparing the cards in a little bit more depth. But like, what a difference in terms of the card backs. Like, this is so boring. These ones will get opened. This one will probably stay on card, just because I don't need 2 of them opened. And then as far as other things that, so I got to get this stuff out of my way. I don't have any more room on my desk here. And then on top of that, you know, when you go away and you're a collector, things that you've ordered, things that have been shipped sort of while you're away start coming in. I had an issue, a QC issue with a Spider-Man figure before I left. And when I came back, Hasbro had sent me my replacement figure, which was not anything that I needed or wanted, but I got the Marvel Hammerhead on the retro card. Don't know what to do with this. Not a figure that I wanted, not a figure that I needed. Maybe I'll give it away at some point, or sell it, or I don't know. Then I was very pleasantly surprised. I had totally forgotten about this. I had won this on toying around. Did an unboxing Thursday, and they sort of had a bunch of prizes and stuff like that. So I won a GI Joe Classified Series bat, and they threw in some stickers. So shout out to Kevin and his channel. Thank you for that. I can't remember too. I can't remember who had donated this in the first place, but thank you to that person as well. That bat is great because I had a bat that had previously gotten a little bit damaged, and not just the battle damage that comes with the figure, but mine had plunged off a shelf. So I was going to have to buy one to sort of have the number of troop builders that I needed. And then that broken one will now sort of be used in like a mind bender sort of Dio setup. But now I don't have to pick up another one. Then I got home. So I got home. I got home Friday evening. Saturday, went to the comic book shop because I was very, very, very excited to pick this up. Not a toy, granted, but the new IDW Last Ronin Lost Years series. Very much looking forward to getting into that. And that's my pickups. That's my that's all the stuff. I think. Yeah, it's been chaos. It's been a whirlwind. It's been fun. It's been fun to be away. Like I said, it's been fun to recharge the batteries, so to speak, and sort of take a minute away. But man, was I itching to get back chatting toys. And sort of it's always nice. I said this. I did a video, a Mythic Legions sort of chat video like this last night as well, and it's just so nice to get back to the comfort of your own home, get back to your collection, get back to your toys, kind of settle back in. The biggest thing that I missed, or one of the biggest things that I missed, was my couch. You get so used to like where you sit on your couch, and then you go on vacation and there's a couch, but it's not the right couch, and it's not as comfortable. But anyway, let's check in with the chat here, and then we will talk about some of the stuff that I'm expecting, some of the upcoming stuff, and then if there's any news items that I've missed that you guys want to chat about, we'll definitely get into that. Samrock is here. My Buddy's Customs is here. Larry Reed is here. Sergeant Slaughterhouse is here. What is going on? Eldor Masterversal Toy Hunter is here, straight from Eternia. Sam says, I also picked up that comic book. Did you read it yet, Sam? I'm curious. If it's anywhere as good as The Last Ronin was, I think it's going to be fantastic. The writers and the artists working on Last Ronin are doing this book. And Last Ronin was absolutely phenomenal. Last Ronin kind of got me back into Ninja Turtles. It got me back into the toys. It got me back into the comic books. It got me rewatching like the original series, as well as getting into some of the series that I hadn't watched. So I hadn't watched, like, I'd seen the original series. I'd seen the original movies, the first 3 movies. And then I'd sort of seen a few things here and there. My kids had started getting into Rise of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I absolutely love. I know that, a lot of people kind of turned their nose up at the design and at the writing and stuff like that. But I think it's fantastic. I'm really excited for Mutant Mayhem. I'm one of these guys that, like, when they reimagine a property, I'm actually really excited. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to like it. It doesn't necessarily mean that the way they reimagine something is going to land with me. But, this may be an unpopular opinion, but not everything is about is about me. It's and I think a lot of people lose sight of that. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean that it's bad. My opinion on a property, on a product, on a person, whatever it is, doesn't make something good or bad, right? There's it's weird, man. I just that's my opinion. You're entitled to your own opinion. Um, it's get down with your bad selves. Do what you want. Collect how you like. Love what you love. I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum. I'm just saying perspective. Sometimes people lose perspective a little bit. The Larry Reed said, should get my Recondo Bazooka Trooper wave from Pulse this week. Actually, yeah, in stuff that is on its way to me. I think that stuff's on its way to me as well. I pre-ordered those because I could. I'm not really kind of decided against collecting the Tiger Force and the Python Patrol stuff, largely just because of space. The figures look fine. I got nothing against them. I have nothing against the pre-paints. Seeing the figures in an alternative deco before we get the standard, I think is clever marketing. Call me a shill if you like. Companies need to make money, and if that's how they're going to do it, so be it. Buy it or don't. Complain if you want. They're going to continue to do it either way. The Recondo, I think I'm going to use for fodder, so I probably will hold on to that. Bazooka, when I look at him, he's a little too specific to be terribly useful for fodder, in my opinion. But that may change when it's in hand. The Python Patrol, troop builders are kind of the same way. Like, because those parts are on a lot of figures, you can kind of customize them and use them for fodder pieces and so on and so forth. But as far as like keeping those figures as stock figures on my shelf, I'm just not that motivated. Because I also know that we're going to get so much stuff in 2023, probably just as much in 2024. I mean, the GI Joe classified line is rolling, man, and there's no stopping that train. Despite what rumors you may hear, or what somebody on the internet may say, that brand is going strong. That line is going from strength to strength. The figures keep getting better. The sculpts keep getting better. The availability keeps getting better. His tank's coming up. There's tons and tons of new characters and figures that are coming up. Some revealed, some pipeline, some that people haven't even heard about yet, or I should say the general population hasn't heard about yet. And there's a lot of good stuff coming. Sam says, I haven't read it yet, but I've seen spoilers online. I've been lucky enough to be able to avoid the spoilers because I was away. I mean, I think it only came out. Did it come out this Wednesday or last Wednesday? I can't remember. But regardless, being somewhat disconnected, I had no issues with staying away from spoilers, which was kind of nice. I was a little bit late to Last Ronin, so I had already heard who the Last Ronin was. And don't worry, I'm not going to spoil it on here. I mean, if that's a spoiler at this point, it's sort of like just go read the book. How long is the period where a spoiler is really a spoiler, right? Like, Vader is Luke's father. Like, how long does that? How long is that a spoiler? I don't know. Some things are just like big, right? Some things are big. The Last Ronin is one of those things. Like, there's one turtle left. Who is it? Well, it's only one of four. So, how long do people wait before you can spoil that? I don't know. I mean, if you really wanted to know, you could find out. If you don't want to know, read the book and find out. If you really don't care, then it's not a spoiler because you don't care. Larry said the TMNT movie was good too. Which one? Because a lot of them have been good. I still like the original trilogies. My kids and I watched all three of them, within the last few months, since they kind of got switched back on, and because I kind of got switched back on to Ninja Turtles. And I still like the third one for what it is. It's goofy, it's badly made, but I like that it's in Japan. I like the turtles and samurai outfits. Whatever. I don't care. I'm not apologizing about it. The one that I want to see, I still haven't seen the Ninja Turtles or the Batman TMNT one. Actually, I picked that up while I was on vacation too. I don't have it here because it's over at the DVD player. I haven't watched it yet, but I really look forward to that. I didn't read the comic book, but Sam says it was released this Wednesday. So I'm not that late, and I'm probably gonna try to read it tonight, if I have time. I might not have time. Larry said the cartoon movie. Now there's also several of those. So there's like I said, there's the Batman TMNT. There is the I think there's a 2003 movie, like the CGI version. There was one at the end of the 20 or no the two wait the 2000. I'm catching up on this, so forgive me if I'm getting all this wrong. The 2003 one had a movie that kind of wrapped up the series. The 2012 CGI one, I think it was the CGI, in 2012, I believe also had sort of a wrap-up movie. Rise of TMNT had a movie that came out this year, which I thought was really, really good. We watched that one. I thought that was a lot of fun. Like I said, I like that series because it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it strays. It's so far removed from like the original comics or whatever. But it was still fun. My kids loved it. And to me, it's sort of like, you can gatekeep and say like, oh no, it has to be true to the original comic. Or you can say like, do kids love it? And is it potentially bringing in new fans and sort of growing the fandom? I would argue that it appeals to a younger audience. My 7-year-old has not seen, 10 seasons or whatever of the original 80s cartoon. My kid will sort of pick and choose to watch an episode here and there, which I'm all for. But it's a tough one. It's a tough one. And I get that I get the people that really want it to be what they want it to be. But in a weird way, like you still have that. There's no harm in them sort of adding more to the world. Actually, Dan Larson at Toy Galaxy did a video. I think it was just this week about the anime, the 2-episode anime, which is a trip, man. That is a wild cartoon. It's available, I believe, on YouTube, subtitled, in the original Japanese with a fan sort of subtitled version. It's well worth watching. The turtles are basically like Power Rangers, and I think there's like a Ninja Turtles Power Rangers things going on right now, and there's a bunch of people that are complaining about that. The reality is that was done in the 90s. That is the second time they've effectively done this. And there was figures. They did figures in the 90s that were from that anime cartoon, and go watch that Toy Galaxy video. It's well worth the 15 minutes or whatever. If you're a Ninja Turtles fan, and if you're not, it's cool to know it's out there, I think. Anyway, the Lost Years, I think they've said is going to be a series that may sort of go longer depending on reception. I've seen some of the design stuff, for some of the turtles. I think they've said that there's going to be another series that's effectively like Lost Years is kind of a prequel to Last Ronin. I think, again, I could be getting this wrong. I'm feeling pretty new to like Ninja Turtles at this point. And then they're going to do a series that's kind of like the sequel, and it's going to be, it's going to be like the new. It's not going to be the Turtles, obviously. Small spoiler, in Last Ronin, there's only one left at the start of Last Ronin. So it's not about those 4 turtles. It'll be about different characters, new turtles, and I think other mutants as well, which is really fun. And it'll be interesting to see how people's sort of reception is to that, because if you don't like people changing the turtles, are you open to new characters that don't have a backstory and a lore? Or do you have blinders on for, the 4 original turtles, and that's all you want? You can have it both ways. You can have your original turtles, or you can have, an expanded universe. but where I was getting at with the Toy Galaxy video is that you know the question is always with Toy Galaxy, is it canon? And the reality is with Ninja Turtles, there's a multiverse, so it can all be canon. And you can love it or you can hate it. You do whatever you want. That's the beauty of being a fan. Um, but like I said, if you don't like something, it shouldn't detract from your love of something that already exists. If you only like soft head turtles and you know season one of the original cartoon, that's great. You'll have those forever. Um, you know, you can let my 7-year-old enjoy Rise of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and move on. Um, Jeremy has joined us from Authority Figure. If you don't know about Authority Figure, you should. He is working on tabletop games that incorporate your 6-inch scaled action figures, which I think is a genius project, a genius move. The first version is going to be the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom Primal Battles, which should be out sometime this year, which I'm absolutely thrilled about. Wave one of the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom is on the water. Speaking of sort of upcoming things that I'm very excited about, I've said this before. I say this all the time. Easily my most anticipated shipment for 2023 is the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom stuff. I can't say it enough, you know, how excited I am for that property. You know, so much of what I collect and so much of what a lot of us collect is IPs that are 20, 25, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old kind of thing, right? Like with G.I. Joe started in the 60s, Ninja Turtles from the 80s, late 80s, I guess. Star Wars is the 70s. Marvel is like what 60 years or something like that. So there's so many years that these properties have had to sort of build momentum and build a following, and that's great. That's absolutely fantastic that they've stood the test of time. But it's so much harder in the current climate to do something from scratch, and that's why I give a ton of credit to Jason at Spiro Toys and Jeremy, who's of course doing the Authority Figure stuff, as I mentioned. Jeremy's sort of the man behind the game. Jason is the man behind, you know, the characters and the story and the figures. And I absolutely can't wait to get those in hand. Wave one, like I said, is on the water. The rest of the Kickstarter wave should be coming shortly behind that, with future waves, including that Primal Battles wave coming shortly after, and there's just so much good stuff coming from those guys, and it's all original. Like I said, it all seems oddly familiar. You know, if you're like me and you're I mean I'm 40, so you know I'm grew up in the 80s and 90s. A lot of the things that I absolutely love and feel very strongly and passionately about are from the 80s and early 90s. But this feels really familiar. This feels really comfortable. This is like a world that I've lived in, you know, just as long as I've lived in, you know, Thundercats or GI Joe or Star Wars or what have you. Um, Despite the fact that it's absolutely brand new, that it's you know these figures are new this year. So I'm really looking forward to that. Um, Other than that, I think the big thing is that the HasLab Skystrikers are starting to ship, at least to Canadians. I don't know that I've seen as many. Maybe I've just been not being paying attention. You know, if you guys know, are Skystrikers landing, so to speak, in the U.S. as well, or is it Canada first, as it seems that Hasbro has sort of been in the last little bit? Well, you know what? I didn't check today. I should check. Well, wouldn't it be funny if I got the email that said that it's on its way? I haven't got my shipping email yet for my Sky Striker, but I'm very much looking forward to that showing up. I have sort of seen that they're no email, sadly. I have seen that they're I shouldn't say I've seen, because I've just sort of not bothered to watch people's unboxings or anything like that, because I want to keep that experience for myself. But I've sort of heard that there's a bit of an issue with the wings, I think. If anybody's watching that sort of knows anything about that, feel free to comment. But I look forward to getting mine in hand. I look forward to sort of getting it out of the box, putting the stickers on it, messing around with it, and sort of hoping that it sort of lives up to my expectations. A lot of discussion going on, at least in the Canadian GI Joe groups right now, about people that bought multiples to flip them. And a lot of debate, as there always is in collectors communities, about flipping versus scalping versus good, whatever. You say what you want. It is what it is. Whether you agree with it, whether you disagree with it, doesn't really matter. People are going to do what they're going to do. And if you got one, great. And if you didn't get one and you missed out, I hope that you can find one for a reasonable price. I hope that everybody has access to one, if it's something that they want, ultimately. And I mean, the weird thing is, my opinion, everybody did have access to them if they wanted one. And if you missed out because maybe you weren't sort of collecting at the time, or maybe you missed out because you couldn't afford one at the time, they're out there, and you can still pick one up. There's a lot of things that are out there that I would love to have that I can't afford, and it's weird to me. I heard somebody sort of make the make the argument that, like, if I go to the grocery store and there's something that I would like, but it's too expensive, so I don't buy it, I don't stand in the aisle of the grocery store just shouting at people that they shouldn't buy it because of the price or something like that, which I thought was pretty funny. Like, if you're gonna buy it, buy it, and if you're not gonna buy it, just move on. Because at the end of the day, like, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. These are want-based items. These are not need-based items. Jeremy says you can't scalp an item that had a pre-order, and it had like a 40-day pre-order, and you could order 5 of them. I agree. Look, man. At the end of the day, I've said this before. One of the sort of values that my dad instilled in me, and like, to this day, this is sort of one of the things that is like deeply rooted in my brain and in the way that I operate, is that price and value are different. Prices are set by the seller. Value is set by the consumer. If those two things don't line up, you don't buy it. But also, everything is worth what somebody is willing to pay for it. So, if the Skystriker was $230 during the HasLab sort of pre-order window, that's the best price you're ever going to get it for, because whoever bought it for $230, and they're not going to turn around and sell it to you for $200. That's just not the way that it works. The way that it works is, if somebody bought one to resell it, they're going to sell it for more than it cost them. That's the way that it works. And you can shout at people all you want in the bakery section of the grocery store that the donuts are too expensive, but somebody's going to walk up and buy those donuts whether you like it or not. And it's the same with a Skystriker. There's going to be people that post them for absolutely, don't get me wrong, there's people that are going to list them for absolutely astronomical prices, and there's going to be people that are going to buy them because maybe they didn't know how much it costs at retail. Maybe they haven't done their research and they don't know where to find one for a good price. Maybe there's the thing where, like, the first one that they see is the one that they're going to buy. Quite frankly, I don't care. If you want it, buy it. If the price works for you, buy it. And don't let anybody tell you not to just because they can't afford it, or they have an ethical, problem with the way that somebody's selling it. Whatever. I'm ranting, and nobody cares. Creating a scarcity by purchasing as much of the limited quantity item as possible and then increasing the price due to scarcity would be scalping. Just my opinion. Yes, I absolutely agree, and that's kind of the argument that people are making, right? Like, if you passed on this as when it was a pre-order, that was your choice. If you bought an extra during the pre-order, that was also your choice. And now you are in the position where now there's no stock available to purchase at retail, right? Like this is the thing, and this is the thing that you're saying too, right? Like creating scarcity by buying up stock with the intention of reselling is scalping. I agree that's sort of by definition that's what we're talking about. Whether you like the term or not, that's a whole nother discussion. Um, but these weren't a limited quantity. That's the argument that a lot of people are making. There was 15,000 sold or however many units. If they had sold 250,000 units, um, you know, that would still be how many were out there, right? Like the number is now fixed, and whether you like that or not, I, I don't know what I don't know how to like I don't know how to change somebody's mind that sort of doesn't quite grasp the concept. I Full disclosure, I bought two. My intention at the time, at least, it's kind of changed. My intention was to keep both Skystrikers and one set of the figures, and then sell off the second set of figures. At this point, however long since that was later, it's like I think it's about a year, maybe a little bit more, 14 months later. I'm not really collecting the vintage stuff. I'm not really collecting 3 3/4 inch. I'm not really the new O-ring stuff interests me because it's cool to get sort of new versions. To get a white Storm Shadow that's not all yellow and stuff like that is really really cool. And I'm into it. I am still intending to keep one of the Skystrikers, but I just don't have room for two. So now I'm sort of like, okay, do I sell? Do I sell the whole package? Still taped. Nothing removed, or do I do what I sort of had intended to do? Piece it out, sell what's in the Skystriker box, which is the Skystriker plus the two figures, and then sell all the carded figures sort of separately. I don't know, but the reality of it is I can do whatever I want because I bought it and it's mine. So at the end of the day, it's sort of like you could be upset with what other people are doing, but you know that's on you. That's not on the people doing what they're doing. Um, yeah, people look. They're called collectibles. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Um, that was more or less all I had, if I'm being honest, and I'm surprised that I got through this quickly. Um, you know, other upcoming stuff. What other upcoming stuff? So I've got a package coming from eCollectibles.ca. He was kind of stockpiling stuff while I was gone, um, and and it just didn't line up. I got him to pull the trigger in terms of shipping it a little bit too late. I thought it might be here before I got home, but unfortunately, it'll probably be here next week. The X-Men Blue and Yellow Suit 3-pack is coming. I'm really looking forward to that. Speaking of Last Ronin, I have the NECA Last Ronin figures coming. Really, really looking forward to those. I'm not a big NECA guy. I have the Turtles in Disguise, and then I think that's the only other NECA thing they'll have is those Last Ronin figures. But the number of positive reviews that those things got, the number of people that said that they're perfect figures, no QC issues, great sculpt, the articulation's okay, better than I guess in some ways better than expected. I'm really looking forward to those. What else is in there? Oh, the much maligned Super 7 Disney Robin Hood, which despite despite everything that I've sort of seen and heard, I'm really really excited to get that figure. I've told the story before about my connection to Robin Hood and sort of Robin Hood toys. But when I unbox that, I'll probably go into crazy amount of depth with sort of my nostalgic connection to that, and the fact, again, to reference Dan Larson at Toy Galaxy. He got that NECA War Duke, and it's a figure that he's kind of been waiting for his whole life in a weird way. Um, the Disney Robin Hood is kind of a figure that I've been waiting for my whole life. So in a weird way, it's gonna have to be absolutely terrible for me not to love that figure. I'm just saying that right now. Is that there's 30 plus years of me wanting that figure, and it would have to be an absolute tragedy and train wreck of a figure for me not to absolutely love it. Um, so we'll see. What else is in that box? I feel like there's more in that. Oh, the Sergeant Slaughter. I haven't got my classified Sergeant Slaughter yet. I see that Larry mentions I sold my extra Serpentor for a little profit. Absolutely, man. I mean, if you were lucky enough to get one, then you're entitled to do whatever you want with it. You could have lit it on fire and melted it down to plastic, and that would have made people angry too. So what do you like? What do you do, right? You're kind of like, whatever. Do what you do, man. Get down the way you like to get down. Whether you like to blow up your figures or sell them for a little bit of profit, do what you do. Sam Rock, the Nekolas Marona figure is so great. I have the unarmored one on the way. That's the other thing is like I got the armored. I got the they're armored and unarmored. I prefer to refer to them as topped and topless. I have both of them on the way. I have to admit that I thought, well, if I'm getting one, I gotta get two. Because the other thing that I saw is when people get two, you can kind of gear him up the way that he's geared up a little bit in the cartoons, or not cartoons, sorry, the comic book, with some of the equipment that sort of. I also heard somebody sort of review the topless version as like a Last Ronin accessory pack that also includes the topless version of the figure, which I thought was pretty clever and pretty funny. Um, Quip's joined us. What's going on, Quip? How's things? What else? What else is upcoming? We've kind of chatted about this on previous videos, but what else are you guys anticipating coming in the next few months here that you're looking forward to? Oh, I did. Because I did Mythic Legions, I totally blanked. There's a ton of Mythic Legion stuff coming too. The War of the Aether Blade wave, All Stars 5 Plus got bumped up. So both of those waves are coming in the next couple months. Both of those waves I went pretty heavy on. Um, the elves and the orcs in the War of the Aether Blade, man, they're just those are probably my favorite races in Mythos. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, and if you don't, check out Mythic Legions. They're phenomenal. Get one in hand. You will get more. If you don't want to get more than one, don't get one, because I'm telling you right now, if you get one, it's over. You're gonna get a whole bunch. Michael's here. What's going on, my friend? You joined me last night for Mythic Legions. You're saying AWOC. I man, I was already talking about AWOC. I'm happy to talk about it again. My most anticipated stuff for 2023 is the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. I'm just like, I wish there was a tracker on that boat as it crossed the ocean. I would check every day. I would probably sit at work watching the red dot. I know that there's like trackers for that stuff. I wish we had the ability to track that. That would entertain me to no end. But they're on the water. They got to get to Louisiana to get distribution, and so we will see them. We'll see them sooner rather than later. At this point, I mean, depending on how long you've been kind of following along with the progress. If you got in on day one with the Kickstarter, it's probably felt like a very, very long time. Backer Kit was, well, I say a few months ago. Backer Kit was like close to a year ago now, I think, almost. But it's progress, and this is the hardest part. The last bit is always the hardest part of the wait, isn't it? Like knowing that they're coming, and knowing that they're like imminently going to be in our hands. It's like it's really happening. It's really happening. We're going to have them soon. Sam said the NECA Alf figure coming in the mail soon. I'm excited for that. I've seen that. I've seen reviews on that. That thing looks pretty cool. Quantum Toys and get Blob in hand yet? Sitting in my pile of loot. I didn't. As much as I like the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, I'm passing on those ones again. Because I got too much stuff. I gotta pick and choose. Space Danger. I can't collect all the things is my 2023 toy collecting mantra. I can't collect all the things, and because I can't collect all the things, I got to look at stuff like Brotherhood of Evil Mutants and sadly pass. Um, Mike from eCollectibles said, "Oh no, did Michael get hooked on AWOC now too?" I don't know. It sounds like he might have. Michael says, "I got my pre-orders in for Aether Blade and All Stars 5 with Mike last night after you went live." Well, I hope I hope don't blame me when dabbling in these lines becomes an obsession. I just tell you what I love, and you can do with that information what you will. Brick's here. What's going on, my friend? I caught some of Brick's video earlier today. He was chatting about the Motu book, but sadly I had to walk away because I had to jump on here. But Michael says no blame. Well, I mean, that's good. I'm glad that sort of objectively I am blameless. Once once your life falls apart because this turns into an obsession. Quip said that Armored Last Ronin was the easiest pickup, not even remotely tempted by the rest of the line because his whole thing is he's the last Ronin. You know what? I'm the other way. The armored one looks absolutely fantastic. I didn't pull the trigger until they actually revealed the other sort of flashback turtles, because I like to have more than one. I don't have anything in my collection, and this was something again I was talking about when I was talking about Cosmic Legions, is that I don't want to pick up one Cosmic Legion and have it just sort of get lost, in a Black Series shelf or something like that. So for me, the armored Last Ronin looks great. The topless Last Ronin also looks great. And then when they revealed that they're doing the other turtles, I was like, all right, they're gonna have at least a half shelf somewhere. They can share some shelf space with the other turtles up there. That I think that turtle shelf is gonna get expanded to 2 shelves because I got more of the Super 7 stuff coming. I got to get these storage shell turtles on a shelf somewhere. Then those NECA Last Ronin ones are going to get up there as well. So that humble shelf is going to grow fast. Everybody's saying hello to everybody else in the group. There's Brick. Did you just finish your video? Because there's like a big influx here of people that I think were watching your video shortly before this. Yeah. What else for 2023? I'm looking at my SH Figure Arts Dragon Ball shelf. There's a whole bunch of that stuff coming too. How could I forget that? We got Gamma 1, Gamma 2. We got the sort of Son Goku beast form, beast mode, whatever you want to call him. Piccolo, the new Piccolo from the movie, that amazing new version of Trunks. We got an update to the Vegeta in sort of that classic Dragon Ball Z colorway. Just so much good stuff. If you're my buddy Eddie says it every time, something gets revealed, something gets released. Golden age, man. There's so much stuff. There's so much to choose from. How do you pick and choose? I mean, everybody's got to sort of figure that out for themselves. I think I'm getting pickier. I think my circumstances are such that, I have to allocate some space and some money for my Bluey collection at this point. So I can't blow all my money on anything. The only line that I'm currently all in on is Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. That's the only one, and thank thank heavens that that Jason is a collector himself, and sort of um, he's doing four-figure waves sort of after this, because I don't know if I'd be able to manage if there was like too many of those coming out. Again, I've seen some of the reveals. I've seen some of the pipeline stuff. I've seen some of the animals that they're gonna do. Um, Now let me think if it applies. I think it does. Lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my. Um, what else? Wolves. Uh, there's been digital renders for reptiles. Again, it's all. Welcome to the channel. It's all going to come back to Animal Warriors of the Kingdom every time. Um, I, there's just so much good stuff coming. Michael said, "What do you think of Action Force? I've been very picky with what I collect. I only focused on Action Force and Mythic Legions. Action Force is making some great stuff. It's I was down from the Kickstarter. I have a few of them. I haven't really expanded on it for any other reason than other stuff that's kind of piqued my interest a little bit more. I've said this before. I tend to, like, in the spectrum of like completely absurd, fantastic, magical to completely real world, I tend to very much be more on the anthropomorphized animals and laser guns and so on and so forth. Um, so Action Force is kind of taking a backseat. That being said, you reminded me. I have some of the female figures from the Action Force in that box as well that I was talking about earlier. So I knew there was something else in that box that I'd forgotten. Action Force, those female steel brigades, and that wave looks fantastic. So I'm looking forward to those, which, like I said, should be here like next week. Mike said, "I'm not sure your pick here." Um, you added a turtle collection on left field. Fair point. That is a very fair point. And I'm forgetting to mention the Mecha Ninja Turtles that are coming out from the Heat Boys, which is the picture behind me and those are coming out. Like, so much good stuff in 2023. Brick said yes, anthro animals and laser guns is pretty much what my hypothetical van will have airbrushed on its side. Oh, can you imagine that? Like a space ape, like that Frazetta style that you used to see on vans, but with Pale from Animal Warriors of the Kingdom on one side and Kali on the other. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It'd be epic. Oh man, somebody's got to do like the a you know I'm not getting into the discussion about AI art, but somebody's got to do AI art for Animal Warriors of the Kingdom Frazetta style. That would look so good, man. Quip said those Heat Boys TMNT mechs are fire. Absolutely. I said, I said I got back into TMNT because of Last Ronin. Last Ronin was one component, and those Mecha Turtles was sort of the other component. That combination of, again, maybe this is, like I said, sort of really early on in the video, about Mutant Mayhem. Me coming back to Ninja Turtles had way more to do with them expanding the universe than me just getting back into the original Playmates Ninja Turtles. For me, I like that sort of invigoration of new life, of new designs, of sort of new stuff. I'm a big Gundam model kit guy. They're not on this shelf. They're on a shelf over there. But I've got shelves of Gundam models. I've got a huge, backlog of kits to build. And when these got revealed, it was right up my alley. And it was sort of, the comic book, the Last Ronin comic book got me back into sort of the cartoon and the comic books. the Mecha Turtles got me back into the toys, into the physical objects, which you know, my storage shell turtles are over there to be unboxed probably this week. My re-release of the Blimp is over there next to my eCollectibles as well. Yeah, yeah. Mike, I guess you're right. My turtle collection did kind of come out of left field. Mike says I'm all in on AWOC because of Adam. Hey man, look. I'm not trying to get everybody all in, but I think, you know, it's going to be one of those ones where people are going to be kicking themselves once people start getting them in hand, because they look fantastic and they're going to be a ton of fun. Larry said, I got into the NECA Gargoyle line. That's a great line. That is one that that I've been resisting. I've been holding off. As great as they look, the big issue with those is space, right? Because those wings, they look phenomenal. Super fun to have on the shelf. Haven't told my kid about that line because she loves that cartoon. She's watched it all on Disney Plus. But I can't collect all the things. I can't collect all the things. And that is one of the things that I can't collect. But, you know, like I said, it's not. It would be different if we were living in a world where there was like not enough to choose from. You know, we're spoiled for choice. We're absolutely spoiled for choice. It is such a first world problem. It is such a it's such a manageable problem to have things that you can't buy versus like, oh, I wish there was something that I could buy. Michael says, I'm still learning about AWOC. Once they're released, I'll pull the trigger. Yeah, they're awesome, man. And I know that you're sort of new to a couple groups, new to the channel. You subscribed yesterday. Absolutely appreciate that. Thank you for that. Actually, I think your subscription was the 200th subscription, which probably means nothing to a lot of people, but for me, it was you know, that was kind of a bit of a moment for me. I'm kind of proud about that, for what it's worth. But go back. We did. I've done a couple Animal Warriors of the Kingdom videos. Check those out. I mean, if you want a little bit more information, please check them out. Comment, like I said before. You know, get in touch with me. I'm happy to chat about this stuff, even when I'm not doing the videos. So, Brick said, I can't be completist about anything, but there are some lines that get quite a few of. That's a testament to how awesome I think those figures are. So Animal Warriors of the Kingdom is one of those lines. That's where I'm at as well. And you know, it's there's a lot of lines out there. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. You know, there's big corporations that people kind of don't like how they operate or whatever. There's complaints about small companies too. I chat pretty regularly with Jeremy and Jason behind Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. They're just great dudes. The product looks great. So when a brand like that comes together, where like it's guys that I want to support and their product is something that I want to buy, it's problematic. It's problematic for me. They've checked all the boxes of stuff that I love. Anthropomorphized stuff. It's got fantasy and it's got swords and spears and daggers, but it's also got laser guns. And it's got a tabletop game, so I can play with my toys. It's got a comic book line, which if you haven't checked it out, you should. You can pick it up online, spirotoys.com, I think. There's only 3 issues. They're $2 a piece for the digital version. Get them, read them. If you're on the fence about Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, read that comic book. I think you'll either be all in or you'll be able to pass. So it's a blessing and a curse, I guess, to read those. Quip said, ain't that the truth? It'll be deep into a line, but never all in. I'll skip a fugly figure in a heartbeat. Yeah, I mean, that's you got to do it, man. Sadly, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom doesn't have one of those figures yet. I was that way with Classified. The I was already talking about them. Why can't I recall? Tiger Force and Python Patrol are the first things that I've passed on in Classified. Yeah, I'm gonna skip that one. Jerry says too much monkey business with the AWOC line. It's absolutely bananas. You're absolutely right. And you and I have made that joke a lot of times in comments. And I love it. I love it. You know, that's part of it, right? Like Animal Warriors of the Kingdom is just so much fun. Like it's so much fun. And because of you, we get to play with our toys. Um, and you know, because of the board game, you can play against other people, and we can play with each other's toys if we like, or you can play with your toy by yourself. I think that's going to be part of the game as well. Um, Brick something. I saw the new AWOC podcast the other day, and every time I hear about the game, I get itchy and want to see it now. Oh, hey, like Beetlejuice. What's up, Jeremy? Jeremy was here before. He's back. He says, "Hey, Brick." Yeah, if you haven't checked that out, Cato's Collection Reviews is doing the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom podcast. It is the Animal Warriors of the podcast, I think is what they call it. But go check that out. I've been working on AI for a while. He says I caved and bought one. Damn you, Adam. Well, like I said, you know, if you hate it, if you don't like it, I'll probably be happy to buy it off you. Quip says, I didn't realize there's a tabletop game. I'll have to read up on AWOC. The figures do look rad. They do look rad. Never heard of AWOC until now. Curse you. Well, yeah, curse me, thank me, whatever. I'm just happy that people are hearing about it. I think, you know, I've been saying this for a few months. Get a pre-order and get one figure. If you don't like it, you'll probably be able to sell it on. Because I also think that once these figures land and once these figures start getting in people's hands, the reviews are gonna push people to buy them. There's gonna be a lot of very sad people that waited to buy these once they're all sold out. And you know, I'll hate to say I told you so, but Brick says, seriously, I had Micronauts board game back in the day that you could use your figures as game pieces. Loved it. The notion of using your figures in a game is fantastic. It makes perfect sense. Yeah, absolutely. And doesn't it feel like, you know, you mentioned a Micronauts board game that you had back in the day. Doesn't it feel like a throwback thing to have like toys incorporated into like a game? It's a masterstroke. I've said that to Jeremy before. It's not and it's not hyperbole. I truly believe that is something that that kind of sets it sets Animal Warriors apart. I think the fact that, you know, there's going to be figure collectors, tabletop game people, and sort of other groups, you know, comic book collectors potentially too. Once that book sort of gets out there a little bit more, you're going to have this crossover between all those different collectors, and I think it's going to blow up. I well and truly do. In a good way, not blow up in a bad way. AI says, I'm sure I will love it. They look great. Just worried I opened Pandora's box. Yep, I think so. The idea of each character having different abilities, etc., is brilliant. Yes, absolutely. And just gets you deeper into the lore. Yes. Between the comic books, between the tabletop game, I think that's the thing. I think a lot of, you know, there's a lot of small companies where they come out with figures, and I don't necessarily get into the line because the lore is just not there. The stories aren't there. You know, the lines that we still care about, you know, now from our childhood, it's very often closely tied to you know, cartoons or comic books or nostalgia from our childhood. And I think there's a big gap between sort of what those properties did and how they did it and what a lot of companies are doing now. You know, a lot of companies are selling to adult collectors, and you know, maybe not adding enough of that, enough of the sort of other stuff. Um, and and I think, you know, adding that just adds more depth. It just adds more. It adds more for people to hold on to grab onto, and to really kind of dig, you know, their teeth and their claws into, and sort of feel like there's a world that exists, right? Um, Jeremy says, we're toying around with the idea of narrative-based scenarios for the game, something akin to a D&D campaign. Still haven't nailed down the specifics, more to follow in the future. Jeremy, you and I have chatted about that a little bit, and again, I think it's absolutely fantastic. I love the idea that there will be sort of different ways to do it, right? Whether you know, you want to just play an hour-long tabletop game, with sort of the basic format, whether you want to have a narrative, and sort of do it that way. Like, the possibilities are endless, and I love that you guys are exploring those possibilities. I love that the you know, that forgive the expression, but sort of everything's on the table, right? That you're not limiting. You know, Animal Warriors isn't limiting itself just to the toys. There's more going on there, and I'm here for all of it. Um, Michael says, just bought the first issue to learn about AWOC's lore. Absolutely, man. And I think you're gonna get into it. And if you like the first issue, the second issue is more of the same. There's a lot of world building in those first two issues. The third issue, things just kick off, man. The third issue is like action packed and a ton of fun. Um, Quip says, "Work nerds stand up." Brick says, "Love it. It's so expandable." Yeah, absolutely. Masterversal Toy Hunter is signing off. Thank you for joining me, Masterversal. It's always a pleasure to have you on here. I know the time difference is usually the issue, so good journey, my friend. Michael, you had better unsub from this channel. Welcome to the madness. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Do I get carried away? Sometimes. Will it ruin people's lives? I hope not, but you know, I don't make any promises. Jeremy says, "Brick, thank you, sir." Yeah, Jeremy, you're doing good work, man, and I'm looking forward to all of it. All right. Any other questions about Animal Warriors of the Kingdom before we sort of tie things up here, or anything else? What else? What have I missed? What's sort of the biggest news story that's sort of been in the last few weeks that I've either glossed over or haven't said anything about? Is there anything? Anything? I don't know. That's most of it. I didn't cover any Lego stuff. I apologize if you were hoping for Lego stuff today. I don't do Lego stuff that much, to be honest. I still like Lego. Yeah, I don't know. That's all I got. That's all I got. I had my notes. I went through all my notes. I think I talked about everything that I intended to talk about. It's been a pleasure. It's like I said, sort of right off at the beginning. It's just good to be back. It's fun to be talking toys again. Quip says, Master Mighty Morphin Power Ranger remastered figs are shipping. You know, love Power Rangers as a kid, specifically Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Had that sort of original run of the Rangers. What were they, like 9 inches tall or 10 inches tall? I can't remember. I had those, and never sort of got back into them. I'm looking at those remastered ones a little bit, but at the same time, again, it falls under that category of I don't have the space. I wouldn't go that deep in the line. They look cool. They look great, but not for me. I can't collect all the things. But what I can collect and what I do collect, I usually go pretty hard on, and pretty. I go hard and deep on the lines that I love. Um, and on that note, thank you all for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. We will do this again next week for sure. I will probably have more of a structure, a co-host, a guest, whatever it is, a topic. It won't just be me sort of rambling about what I've been up to for the last couple of weeks. And on that note, thank you for joining me in the chat. Hope to see you again next time. Please like and subscribe. Hit that notification button. I do. I do. Another sort of show, open late, where I unbox things that are usually old and nobody cares about. I'm never the first person to get figures, so don't come to me for sort of up to date. The first review for any figure. I'm not that guy. Brick said, "Thank you for the love the shirt, by the way. Got to purify yourself." Yes, I mentioned one of the big things that people that people take for granted that live in the U.S. is the Target graphic T-shirt section. I picked this up when I was on vacation for like $12, and I pick up a few every time I go. Like I said, this year it was Purple Rain. I picked up a Care Bears t-shirt, which you'll probably see in a later episode. I picked up a Hello Kitty t-shirt, which you'll probably see in a later episode. And I picked up a Dragon Ball Z t-shirt as well as this Purple Rain t-shirt. But yeah, the Target graphic tees, man, they're great. They're underrated. People don't talk about them enough. Mike said, "Thank you. Looking forward to next week." Absolutely, man. I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you hanging out and chatting. AI says, "Welcome back. Have a great week. Have a great week yourself. I hope everybody else has a great week as well. I appreciate all you guys. And I don't know what this reference means. What am I missing? After the stream, you'll need to have some pancakes. Is that a Purple Rain reference? I can't remember. I haven't watched the movie in so long. It's like the record is great, and then the movie is just icing. The movie is just syrup on your pancakes, I guess, right? To use that reference that I don't know. It's over my head. I don't know. Oh, okay. I didn't put two and two together. Dave Chappelle, Charlie Murphy reference. Yes. Okay, that's a show that I haven't watched in years. Chappelle show is something I got to revisit that. That's a great show, man. That show was so good. How many people got switched on to Prince because of the Chappelle show? I bet a lot. I bet it's, yeah, for sure. Anyway, that's we could hang out and I could ramble and rant and just not sign off. Honestly, I just have a ton of fun doing this. I'm glad to be back, but we'll save it for next time. Hope you guys can join me again next time. Like I said, it's pretty much every Sunday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, give or take a couple minutes. And then I do the open late on usually Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, someday in there, wherever it works. And then sometimes I do Saturday nights like I did last night. So like I said, hit that notification bell and then you'll know. Alternatively, you can check out the page on Facebook. I got an Instagram, do that stuff. Details, down below in the description there. If you want sort of up to date, if you got questions, like I said, reach out. Let me know. What do you want to see? What do you want to chat about next time? I'm here for it. I'm all ears. AI says, been a Prince fan since the 80s. That's what everybody says, AI. You have no way to prove it. Prove it. Prove that you've been a Prince fan since the 80s. I kid. You know what? That's one of those things where people try to flex, well, I've been a fan longer. Who cares, man? Love what you love, and enjoy your toys. Enjoy your toys. Enjoy your records. Enjoy what you love. There's no guilty pleasures. There's just the pleasures of the guilty. On that note, I am gonna sign off. It's been great. It's been fun. See you guys next week. Bye bye.